It's fine. I'm just looking for a link. All right.
There it is.
Control issues.
It's not control issue. I got the computer right in front of me. I don't know what you're talking about. Is that? I mean, this is what you do. You just team up. You just team up against it.
I can be easily bought, by the way.
Yeah.
So I'm good on either way.
Oh, you'll see.
Yeah.
There's only one team to be on.
So this link, okay. All right. I'm gonna put it out there. All right, you guys ready to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ready there, Weebs?
Yeah, that's a go.
All right.
We good.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm Andy Ruther coming to you live today from Koreatown, the Don't Tell production studio with my co-host, Joey No Chill Prano.
Good morning, Andy.
Early Thursday morning for us.
Yeah, you got me up early, getting me in your car, taking me to Koreatown. I thought I was being kidnapped.
Well, we have a guest today, Joe.
We do. I'm excited about it.
And we're not going to kidnap him. Maybe we will. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, now
Ruther off to a hot start.
Well, now it's suspenseful. Now I don't know if I'm going to be kidnapped or
Yeah,
not.
I just told you right before we rolled. It's going to be pretty clear, pretty fast.
Right,
like
which
there's
side to
only
take.
one team that you want to be on.
Yeah.
Ruther's threatening to kidnap you. So
Well, let's get to our guest today.
Yeah.
He's a writer currently for FanRag Sports. You have your own podcast,
Yep.
Talk Hoops.
Yep.
Zach Harper,
That's me.
welcome to Dirty Sports.
Thank you for having me. This is great. I don't usually get to do like live human interactions for podcasts. It's always over Skype, so it's nice to be in person.
yeah, we recently found out that you were in LA. I saw you bouncing around with the Don't Tell crew, and I was like, oh, we got to get Zach on the show.
Yeah, it's a crew that also feels like they may kidnap me.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It almost feels like they've all been kidnapped and they're just like stuck here, right?
Right, and it's almost like this kind of like human centipede of kidnapping. Like it just one attaches to the other, and it's just like kidnapping clan.
Yeah. Well, now you're part of the centipede.
That's great. Placement matters with the human centipede, but whatever. Like as long as you're a part of something. That's
Good movie, by the way.
Not that bad.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about Human Centipede? Have you seen it?
No.
I got really sick. I'm from Cincinnati. When I
Okay.
went home a few years ago, I got really sick. Like,
I'm just gonna leave the joke that's coming to me. Yeah.
and
I'm really sick from eating out of my friend's butthole.
I got really sick when I was home, and I just remember, just bad flu, diarrhea, the whole 9 yards. And I just was lying in my old room that I grew up in, and I'm just watching on Netflix on my little laptop Human Centipede. I remember, as sick as I felt, that probably wasn't the best movie to watch because it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
But it's a good movie. Really dark. The second Human Centipede, not good.
Oh, I didn't see the second one.
Yeah. I had a girl.
I don't know that we needed a second one.
I had a girl over to watch that, by the way.
The second one?
Yeah.
Wow,
Just
that's
you're bringing dates over for the sequel?
That's
Yeah.
a heat check.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's a real like how
Yeah.
much is she into me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Ruther's apartment's a heat check. So like once you're there, he's like, "Oh, really? You didn't walk him out immediately? You want to watch the sequel to Human Centipede?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that looking back, that probably wasn't the smartest move. No, I think there's a reason we didn't hook up that night.
Yeah. I mean, the nausea. It's hard to get past nausea to want to hook
Yeah.
up.
The premise of
Also, your story about how you had diarrhea when you watched the first one.
Right.
probably threw her off.
the premise of the second Human Centipede is that someone is obsessed with the news story, I think, about the first one, and then they want to do it. I think that's the
It's a
premise.
copycat movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so really it's like a tale about our society and how much
Yeah.
we're influenced by the media and all
So
that stuff.
meta.
It's not about eating someone else's
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Who knew, Zach, when you came and did the show, we would open with Human Centipede?
I thought like 70% chance, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a pretty good guesser, but that's what I thought.
But the reason we have you, you're an NBA. Would you call yourself an NBA expert?
Others have called me that. It sounds better when I'm like on a radio show or on a podcast. They're like, "Oh, NBA expert Zach Harper." I know enough.
What
I would
amount
say
of
that.
what amount of your time, like what amount of your day are you spending NBA related?
I mean, from when I get up to when I go to bed, pretty much. It's a lot. I'm either watching a game or researching an article or tweeting about whatever. Yeah, it's like it's a 2 full-time job type of thing.
And we were talking before the show. You're originally from Sacramento, but you're a Wolves fan,
right?
Where, like, I would have totally understood. We were talking. You're, close to my age, like growing up in Sacramento when the Kings started getting good. I'm like, okay, this totally explains your basketball obsession. But you're a Wolves guy. You just picked the Wolves at a young age.
I was a kid, and I thought Wolves were cool, I think. Like, I really think that's all it was. It wasn't like, oh, wow, Tony Campbell is legit. Like, I'm glad they got him in the expansion draft. I don't think it was anything like that.
Did you ever feel any guilt about not being a Kings fan?
No, because this won't make me sound like a great friend, but all my friends are either Kings fans or Warriors fans, and they were all super annoying about their team. And I think, like, this is not an intended pun, but you become sort of a lone wolf of like, fandom and stuff, and so like then I kind of like lean into it a lot, and I was obsessed. Like whatever small clip was on SportsCenter or NBA Action or Inside Stuff or whatever that was Wolves related, I would go nuts over. I read like every box score. I went to the game. Like they came into town twice a year. My dad would take me. Like we would go all the time. So yeah, I always felt like a small connection to the team, and then once they got good, once they got Kevin Garnett and everything, then they had actual exposure, and then it was easier to like kind of get into.
I gotta imagine early '90s, mid '90s,
not a lot.
Kings Warriors fans arguing must have been like.
It was like a lot of
that's
like
the bottom of the barrel.
We won the Mitch Richmond trade. No, we did like that. It was a lot of Billy Owens standing and stuff. It was
Billy Owens. Yeah. That wasn't a good time for that area.
No, I mean once Tim Hardaway's knee kind of fell apart and they traded Mitch to Sacramento. Sacramento like became a little good and people got excited about like Walt Williams and Olden Polynice, but it wasn't really a good team.
Who was Mitch Richmond on? Who was he partnered with on NBA Jam? Because I used to be them a lot. Do you guys remember back in the day, like mid '90s? Who was Mitch Richmond's guy
with the Kings?
I don't even remember. Wayman Tisdale, maybe? Maybe he wasn't around for?
Was it Tisdale?
Point? That might be 2 errors not really linking up.
I don't remember.
Because I remember that was like a low-key team that I would use. My brother's
I don't know what's weirder, that you watched the sequel, The Human Centipede, or that you used the King. Like I
actually think there's some similarities there.
Yeah. I probably played NBA Jam 1 million times. I don't think I even thought once about using the King.
It was a lot of like, I want to be the Sonics because Sean Kemp's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah. I liked Mitch Richmond.
Yeah.
I was weird in my video game days with the teams I would choose. But anyway. There's so much going on right now.
Yeah,
Zach.
it's a lot.
There's so much going on, and Joe and I, of course, got into it last episode, but we're gonna want to hear your take on all the Cavs moves. Now, even since our last episode, Joe, now the Cavs have won convincingly in Boston. Then they win a closer game in OKC, a game that I'm sure you watched.
Yeah.
They pretty much, I don't want to say dominated the game, but they were in control. I still felt of that game.
Right.
Is anyone going to touch them now? I just think that the new look Cavs, as far as in the East, I don't think anybody's going to touch them.
This is a boring answer, but it always comes down to like one team's going to have LeBron James in the playoffs and another team isn't, right?
Yeah.
Like other than the Warriors are unbelievable. So like the Warriors are still, even as good as Houston is, Warriors are still the class of the league, and everyone expects them to win the championship. But in the East, like there was a lot of like, hey, Toronto changed their offense. They don't rely on free throws so much anymore, and so this is a better attack for the playoffs. And it's true, it is. But their best players, DeMar DeRozan or Kyle Lowry. And those are really good players, but it just doesn't give a lot of like that guy's going to match LeBron 4 out of 7 times, right?
Toronto fans, if you're listening, we already said
they
we have a
me,
basketball expert. Like everybody, we talked about after the trade. We talked Cavs. How does this match them up with Boston? Are they a contender again? Rockets, Warriors. It's like, you guys are forgetting that Toronto's leading the East.
Yeah, I don't think I can legally step inside of Canada at this point because I don't think they like me at all. And I want Toronto. Like I love Kyle Lowry. Like he's one of my favorite players. But I just like who's going to match LeBron? That's what it comes down to. And they got rid of whatever, well, at least for now, whatever team turmoil was there with Isaiah Thomas. And there was a lot. And they've improved in terms of how versatile their talent is on defense. And those were 2 big problems for them. Like, are they going to be great the rest of the season? Probably not. They'll probably go, up and down a little bit, but they still got LeBron.
That's sort of what I said about the trade. I think the biggest thing, more than the talent they got back or the talent they let go, was the attitude of these guys coming in. And George Hill straight up said it is, we are just all here to be Robin. He's Batman. And it seemed like not just with Isaiah, who obviously was vocal about, not getting his shots and the way the team was being run and the team was being coached, but even Kyrie before that, who obviously, whether we knew it until the summer or as the trade talk started to happen, had some sort of power struggle issue.
Yeah.
And I just think a Cavs team with LeBron or any team with LeBron is its best self when everybody goes, this is LeBron's show, and just do what LeBron says and act, take the shots LeBron gives you, because they're going to be good shots.
Right. And it's not fun for the other professional players who have been the best guys in their high school and in their college and everything. Like, it's not fun for those guys. Those guys want, part of that glory as well. But LeBron is one of the greatest players ever, and he's still incredible, right? Like, I think to defer to him shouldn't be hard, but I get why it was hard for Kyrie Irving when he's like, hey, I'm really good. I won a championship. I hit the shot. Why don't I get to do that? And I think it's actually admirable that he would want to go away from LeBron, probably knowing LeBron's going to leave, so he wanted to get out of there early. And
I would disagree there. I went hard. We both did.
I think the thing is, like, look, we just, for years it was, you got to do it on your own. And then it was, you can't do it on your own. If you really want to care about winning titles, you've got to sacrifice and find a way to sacrifice for others so that you share the glory. And then the super teams started happening, and we're like, oh, I don't know about that. Like, you got to want to do it on your own, Kevin Durant. Like, it can't be that easy. And so Kyrie Irving went for a really difficult path.
Yeah.
I think it might be dumb, but I think, like, I get it.
But don't you think come playoff time, I mean, of course that's going to be in LeBron's head.
For sure.
Like, you're going, we always joke on our show about, or you do in particular, about mad Tom Brady. Like, you don't want to go against a mad LeBron or a LeBron with a vendetta. Like, that game last week in Boston, you could see how much fun LeBron was having, and you could see how much not fun, for lack of a better term, the lack of fun that Kyrie was having.
Right.
And I just think, like you said, Zach, it seems like these guys know their role, and the veterans, I was watching Jalen Rose the other day, and he was making a great point. That's what he's saying. He goes, they're the veterans. They just look at LeBron as a peer. And he was saying, these guys like Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. and Rodney Hood, they look up to LeBron. They grew up watching him. So now they get to play with him. Yeah. It's a completely different psychological mindset for these guys. And I know it's only been 2 games, but it seems like they're taking, like Joe said, that role of let LeBron do his thing, set me up for shots, and everything should fall into place.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you made a great point about the Thunder game. They were in control. Like, the first 8 minutes or so, Thunder looked really good, and it looked like Cleveland, maybe some of those problems were back. And then they hit a groove with the second unit. They hit a groove once the starters came back in. And even though it was pretty close, like, they were just in control. And we haven't seen the Cavaliers in control of much. They did have that stretch where they won 18 out of 19 games. So the schedule was also really easy for them at that point. And it was going to be hard for them to keep playing as poorly as they were because of the talent they have on the team.
What does it say about the NBA that this Cavs team has looked as good as they have with these guys showing up? And I mean, they obviously haven't installed much of an offense.
Right, yeah.
They're not. I mean, they just met each other. The first game they come out, they blow out Boston. They play, a great game against OKC. Is that just the NBA? Like, is that LeBron? Like, he's going to get you guys good shots, just be in the right position, or is the NBA just that loose where these guys, they haven't figured it out yet, and they're still winning games?
Well, I think part of it too is when you bring new guys in, a lot of coaches, when the new guys are on the floor, they'll just kind of simplify everything, and it is just like hey, go play basketball. And especially when you have LeBron out there, like, he's a genius, right? He's a basketball genius. So having like, hey, just go play basketball, and by the way, LeBron's next to you, it makes it easier. Now you get into a 7-game series, and you get into more in-depth game planning and game-to-game adjustments and half-to-half adjustments. That's when they need that familiarity to it. But in random nights of the regular season, if it's simplified and it is so much. I know there's some people that don't believe in momentum, but I do, and I think it's more of a psychological thing than anything. There's a psychological momentum when they get out there with a new team and things start going well, and they're like, oh, maybe this is how it's supposed to be next to LeBron, because it probably is. And I think you can build on that confidence pretty easily.
It's hard not to believe in momentum in the NBA when you look at how it'll affect you negatively.
Yeah,
look at what was happening with the Cavs. I mean, you can argue talent-wise, did they improve, did they not improve? These guys are younger, they're hungrier, whatever. But they went from being a disaster to now everybody's. I mean, 2 games, people are like, oh, are they the class of the East again?
Right. I mean,
because they added Jordan Clarkson and George Hill.
Not long before the trades, they were up 21 in Orlando, and they lost that game by 18 to a broken Orlando team that is actively trying to lose games.
Right.
Like that is not like leads get blown all the time by good teams and bad teams, right? Blowing a lead is not a big deal. Blowing a lead the way they did against that Orlando team, that showed how fractured they were as a team.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we give the Raptors any? I got to go back to the Raptors because because
you've been getting death threats.
Well, I just like on our phone conversation the other day that Joe and I had. It was like these guys just come out of nowhere. You guys are such homers. You say you're not ESPN, but you don't even talk about the Raptors because no one is because no one gives a shit. Do we think? I don't think they make the Eastern Conference Finals. In fact, I even said I put myself out there, risky move, but I always do that.
Yeah.
I said I'll wear the L chain. We have an L chain.
Oh, okay.
That's the equivalent to the Hurricanes
Yeah,
turnover
I like
chain.
that.
We have an L chain. I said I'd wear the L chain to a Drake concert.
Wow.
If the Raptors made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, because I'm confident they won't even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the path that's ahead of them.
Right.
Like against a healthy Washington team or a healthy Milwaukee team, probably take the Raptors, but I'm not certain. I think there's some real matchup problems against teams that have that really overwhelming athlete.
Yeah, and it's all, and like you said, the path. It's almost depends on the seeding. If somehow Toronto is the 1 seed, then the second round 2-3, Cavs Celtics matchup is kind of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah,
like, we're gonna play it around early, but this is the Eastern Conference Finals,
right? And I think too, like with this Raptors team is. We do this every year, and I know they've changed their offense, and there are valid reasons why you think like this could be the year, but we do this every year with the Raptors.
Every year.
Like a colleague of mine, Tom Haberstroh, who used to write for ESPN, now writes for Bleacher Report. Like we were on a podcast a couple weeks ago, and we talked about someone brought up the Raptors, and he was like, he just cut us off. He's like, "Are we doing this again?
Yeah.
Like this is what we're doing again. We do this every year." And I do like I get why Raptors fans are frustrated. But until they prove that it's dumb to dismiss this, it is kind of just you dismiss it.
It's like the girl who keeps taking back the guy who keeps cheating on her.
Right.
And she's like, I swear he's not going to cheat on
this
her
time's
anymore.
gonna be different.
Yeah, it's going to be different. He's changed. I don't know if he's changed because Serge Ibaka, we don't know how old he is. Do you know? Have you heard this thing?
Oh yeah.
Do we know how old Serge? Until we find Serge Ibaka's actual age, the Raptors will not make it to the NBA Finals.
I think too. It's just I do this with the Celtics. Celtics were the 1 seed last year. How much did that matter?
Right.
It doesn't matter. Like they could be the 1 seed this year. I would think they're not going to make the finals. Like it's just.
So right now, if you were betting on it, you're betting on the Cavs out of the East.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now. I'm with you. I've been called a LeBron slurper, which to me, I don't understand. I don't understand who watches the current NBA and isn't a LeBron slurper. The internet.
This is a great point. I don't know how you watch LeBron and you're not like, that guy's great.
Yeah.
You don't have to like him, but I get like people with Kobe. Like people didn't really like Kobe. I'm like, yeah, but he's great.
Yeah, but there are a lot of Kobe avatars on the internet with, a frog and a cup of tea next to it that hate LeBron James.
I really don't like that frog tea thing. It's really annoying to me.
Well, it's just ignorant fanboys. We've come to the conclusion. If you're not showing your real face, your opinion doesn't mean anything to me at all.
I'm with you.
In anything.
Yeah.
Politics, sports, pop culture. If you're hiding behind a picture of Kermit the Frog, drinking Lipton tea. I'm
wearing Tom Brady's uniform.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Your opinion on foreign policy doesn't mean shit.
To be fair, it takes a lot of courage to go up there with a frog avatar and start yelling slurs at someone on the internet.
Yeah.
It's a pretty brave thing to do.
Do you my sort of the Eastern Conference? When I look at it, I essentially. I'm like, yeah, of course it's going to be LeBron. If I had money to put on it, I'd put it on LeBron. But it almost feels to me like the East is LeBron James versus Brad Stevens. Like there's a significant like lopsided coaching advantage in a Boston Cleveland series. and a significant player advantage on the other side.
Yeah, Ty Lue's a real bad coach.
Exactly.
I mean, he's a real bad guy. Like, we heard all last season, like, yeah, the Warriors got Kevin Durant, but we've got a secret defense for him. Like, you got blown out in 4 out of the 5 games you played. Like, there was one that was close. The Durant hit the game winner, but there was no secret defense. Like, Ty Lue's a bad coach,
right?
And I think, like, because Brad Stevens is such a brilliant coach, he makes Boston look a lot better than they are because they really can't score.
Right.
And if Kyrie Irving's off on a night, like, they're toast. And granted, they're built to have Gordon Hayward in there as well. And so not having him, and I don't think people realize how good he is. Like, not having him is a big blow to them, but that's not putting them over the top against LeBron.
Right.
So, I think too, like, we're getting to a point where it's going to be the East is LeBron versus Brad Stevens versus Giannis, because Giannis is unbelievable. Like, if they hadn't made any trades, if Cleveland had just stayed with what they had and said, we're going to work it out, I think I would have picked Milwaukee to upset them if they faced in the playoff series, just because there was a real vibe of 2007 Cavs where this young LeBron came and took down kind of not a battered Pistons team, but just a Pistons team that didn't quite have it anymore, right? They took that team down, and I could kind of see similarities between a young Giannis coming in with that scrappy Bucks team and figuring out a big upset like that. Now I'm not so sure about that.
Would you still put the Bucks as a sleeper in the Eastern Conference?
Yeah, because I think they can take down everybody else. Gotcha. I think they could take down the Raptors. I think they could take down the Celtics. I think they could take down the Wizards in a 7-game series. It's a little tricky to figure out because one thing that was really holding them back was Jason Kidd, because he's also a real bad coach.
What made, and I'm not as familiar with that.
Yeah.
What makes Kidd? Well, why was he such a bad coach?
His strategies were just insane. Like, they didn't adjust defense during the game. Like, no matter what was happening, they didn't adjust the defense, and you just can't coach like that. And they would do things where they were up 3, and they foul. He wanted to foul because he was worried about a 4-point play beating them.
Right. Yeah.
Like, the other team, like, how you ever think,
Played
like,
too much rock and jock.
shit,
Back in his
a
playing days.
4-point play might kill us here because we're only up 3. Like, we got to do something. Like, that's just bad strategy. Like, he managed the end of games terribly.
What about this theory? Jason Kidd and Pitbull, they look alike, are actually the same person. So Pitbull was coaching a lot of those games, and he's not as familiar with basketball. Right. So Pitbull,
This is your theory? You're cutting off an NBA expert with a Pitbull Jason Kidd doppelganger theory?
I'm kind of here for this theory. I'm not rejecting it. I'm not accepting it, but I'm not rejecting it.
I'm just saying Pitbull doesn't really know the rules of basketball.
Right.
I mean, Mr. Worldwide, he knows everything.
Jason Kidd's been a lot of places. He could be Mr. Worldwide. We wouldn't know.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the West, though.
Mm-hmm.
So the Warriors, they lost last night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw, it's so glad to see another man appreciate Bill Walton. I was looking at your tweets last night, Zach.
People were upset with Bill Walton. Like, you don't enjoy life if you don't like Bill Walton. He was so fun. He was ridiculous. Like, he's talking about floods. He loves naming things around the city he's in. Yeah. Like, he loves that. There is nothing he did a game. He did a college game recently where he just started talking about, it was a Michigan State game. And they have a player with the last name Bridges, and he just started naming bridges in the area. Like, it was it was incredible. Like, he is a treasure.
He really is.
I can't understand. Like, I don't know who these people are that are watching it and like, I just want to hear play by play.
Right,
it's like
and the previous game you just heard Mark Jackson and Dick Vitale. Yeah. There's no way this is a downgrade for you. Like, this is a huge upgrade.
Somebody came at me last night, and I tweeted, Bill Walton brings me so much joy and happiness, right? Somebody comes at me, but listening to him do play-by-play for games is absolutely brutal. I told that person, just unfollow me. Because I wrote, please unfollow me.
We're never going to get along.
Because you're not someone that anyone wants to be around. If you don't if you don't enjoy Bill Walton and the unique perspective that he brings, and he's such a brilliant and smart guy. If you don't enjoy that, if you're listening right now to our show, unsubscribe, don't listen, and just
take down your review from iTunes.
We don't want your iTunes review. That's how serious. Ruther's like shaking. He's like, well, don't take down your iTunes review. But
I need those 5 stars.
Everything else,
just be miserable because he there's nothing like him.
Yeah, there were 2 exchanges last night, both having to do with his son. where the first one was Dave Pash, I think his name is, play-by-play. He said, Luke Walton got ejected tonight, and there's some news with Luke Walton. He got ejected tonight, and Bill goes, from what? The game. And then he mentioned it later because I think they were doing a tease to SportsCenter or something. He's like, Luke Walton gets ejected, and Bill goes, wait, he did? He's like, yeah, I told you about this earlier. And Bill goes, I've failed as a father.
I caught that. That was great.
I had to eject Luke a few times from the teepee in our backyard in San Diego. Sometimes he was trying to light fires inside, and I was like, get out, Luke. This is a second technical. You'll have to leave.
He's incredible.
Yeah. What I love about it, I didn't get to watch the whole game last night, but I was watching the first half, and then I'm on Twitter while I'm out, and people are tweeting Bill Walton quotes, and the best part about when he's doing the big games is that an actual quote,
right,
or is like because there's a thing where people basically do fan fiction of what Bill Walton might say in a game, and then it turns out no, he was talking about all of that stuff.
Yeah, he was doing he started the broadcast with "I saw 5 volcanoes today."
Yeah.
That's what he started the broadcast with. That's the first thing he said on the broadcast. It was
like a new personal best.
He's amazing. We went. He had a book signing. What would you call it?
Yeah,
like
a book signing and reading,
and we went. Where was that down again?
It was like Laguna Beach or like Dana Point or something like that.
Somewhere down in Orange County. And Joe and I went last year. I mean, he is such a pleasure to be around.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, he talks to everybody individually, and it's so funny because what was his line? Did I call him the GOAT?
Yeah, one of us called him the GOAT. I'm not a goat.
He goes, I'm not a goat. What's a goat? I'm not a goat. I'm like, greatest of all time. He's like, I'm not a goat.
He's such a positive guy too. I mean, he was so positive that I think for like an episode and a half, I didn't swear. That's like the effect he had on me. Yeah. Now I'm back to telling people to kill themselves over LeBron James memes. But for a full show and a half, I was like, we have to be better. Bill Walton told me to be positive.
Also, that guy's been through so much physical agony.
Yeah,
so much.
He's had there were times where he could only lie on the floor. His back was in so much pain. And I think when you get to a point where you don't have to deal with that all the time to such severity, of course you're going to be thrilled you saw 5 volcanoes today.
Yeah.
That's going to be your.
He's like,
you're
I
walk
walk
around
all of them.
Right.
When I'm outside, I live in Venice Beach, so does Joe. And when I'm, let's say, going on a bike ride or for a run, and I'm just, I'm from Ohio. So when I get to see this beauty, I literally think of Bill Walton.
Yeah.
I'm like, Bill would appreciate these mountains and the ocean breeze.
He's like, look at you riding your bike by the ocean instead of a chili shack. Isn't life in California great? Isn't it beautiful? Palm trees. Oh, instead of dead Bengals jerseys on the side of the road that people have thrown out their window after another Andy Dalton playoff loss. California is magical.
The great thing about him, he probably has 5 Achilles Smith facts on deck anytime you meet someone from Cincinnati.
Yeah. So the Warriors, do you think anybody can, unthrone them from the West?
I'm starting to really consider
the Rockets.
Houston. Yeah.
Really?
Houston's actually playing defense this year. Now, I don't know that it's going to matter against the Warriors in a 7-game series, but it's not just offense. They've been a pretty good defensive team. Adding Chris Paul has taken a load off of James Harden, not in terms of usage and numbers and stuff, but you can just tell it's not so hard for James Harden anymore.
Yeah.
And if you can stagger those guys to where, as long as the game is within reach, one of those guys is always on the floor. It's just a luxury not a lot of teams have. The Warriors have it because they've got 4 All-Stars, but it's such a key dynamic that they need. And with the Warriors, they played a lot of games over the last 3 years, and that stuff just starts to wear down. It's ridiculous that LeBron's been to 8 straight finals. Now he's split that up with 2 different teams, but it's ridiculous he's been to 8 straight finals. With the Warriors, you can see it. The defense isn't always as sharp as it was the last few years. And they're very sloppy with the ball. They do just some stupid turnovers that drive Steve Kerr crazy. If they don't clean that up by taking the Rockets seriously, which I'm not totally certain they will take the Rockets seriously, I think there's a recipe for an upset there.
I'm a big Mike D'Antoni fan.
Yeah, I love Mike D'Antoni.
I was, I really didn't have a ton of Mike D'Antoni opinions. When he was with the Suns, it's a fun offense.
Right.
Steve Nash is great. I read 7 Seconds or Less, and I was like, okay. But as a Knicks fan, when he came, and I was like, okay, this guy just changed our culture.
Yeah.
This is the first glimmer of hope we've had. in a long time. And then obviously the Knicks do what the Knicks do, and they take a piss on any like spark of positivity.
Oh, freewheeling sharing system. Like, let's go get Carmelo. That'll fit in.
I mean, I'm gonna have to do heroin after this episode just because Melo came up. But a lot of people do sort of what we do with the Raptors with Mike D'Antoni teams. It's like, oh, cool. Call me in, June and when it happens. But the reason I kind of call bullshit on that and how it's different from Toronto is Mike D'Antoni's only ever had the ability to lose in the playoffs because he's overachieved with basketball teams that shouldn't have been. He shouldn't have been playing Popovich in the Western Conference Finals. Right. He shouldn't have been playing. And the difference, and I think why a lot of people who know basketball take this Houston team seriously is, they're better because they have Mike D'Antoni as their coach, but they also have great players. Yeah. And they have a deep team, and they have an offensive identity. I mean, shooting the threes that they're shooting, like that's. If you showed somebody that was watching 90s basketball, this Rockets team, they'd be like, what's happening?
It doesn't look like the same sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely different. And James Harden is just, like, I know he has flamed out famously in playoffs before. And some of that might be mental, some of that might be fatigue. But you just watch him in the system. Like, he's turned James Harden into a Hall of Famer. James Harden was really good before that, but he's like, if James Harden plays like this for 4 more years, he's a lock for the Hall of Fame. And that's just like, his system just gets the most out of guys like Eddie House, right? Tim Thomas, like these also-rans who don't really matter. And now he's doing it with like Eric Gordon, who's a really good player. He's turned Clint Capella into an incredible pick-and-roll guy and rim protector. Ryan Anderson is probably a dinosaur in this league because while stretch big men are important, you also need them to be able to move their feet. He can't move his feet, but he's still hyper-effective. He resurrected the career of Gerald Green, right? Like, I mean, they just added Joe Johnson.
Gerald Green comes out of off like a bus stop, and
Gerald Green wasn't
6 threes in a game.
Gerald Green didn't get signed December 28th because teams were worried he might be too good. Right? Like that's not why you don't get signed until late December. Right? Like he sucks. And he's a 40% 3-point shooter with Mike D'Antoni. Like Mike D'Antoni just gets the most offensively out of players. I also think the perception of him is colored a little bit because I don't know how into analytics you guys are, but when the Suns were great with him and Steve Nash and Amari, everyone looked at it as like, well, but they give up the most points in the league. They're a bad defense. And it's like, when you look at defensive rating, which is points per 100 possessions, which evens the playing field because not all teams play the same tempo, they were actually like middle of the pack.
Exactly.
It's still not great, but we didn't know how to view those Mike D'Antoni teams. We just saw fast game, they give a bunch of points, but they score a bunch of points.
Right.
When you actually dig into how good those teams were, they were actually a lot better than they were given credit for.
And now everybody's playing at that pace. If you compare it to those stats, you're like, oh, that's what does that break down to for if you're just looking at it as a points per game.
Right, exactly.
That was like when people were scoring 87 points in the game, 91 points, and now everybody's kind of on the D'Antoni offensive system.
Right.
So now the defensive numbers are exploding as well. That's why I do give. I mean, when you look at the Warriors, like you said, a little sloppy, a lot of games. Also, their bench, like I feel like they made decisions that were just a little too. Like confident, they're like, let's just get Swaggy P. Like, why wouldn't we want more scoring?
Putting Nick Young and JaVale McGee on the same bench after what we saw in Washington with them together, it's a little like inviting someone over to watch Human Centipede 2, right? Like it's a little bit like
they got to bring.
It might work out.
Be a lot of eating shit, that's for sure.
Bring Gilbert Arenas, and who's the guy who brought the gun?
Oh, Javaris Crittenton.
Yeah. Isn't he in jail?
He is in jail.
Didn't he kill somebody?
I think he murdered a woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That took a deep turn. That took a deep turn. But my critique, as you know, Joe, of D'Antoni is he still never made the finals.
Right.
And your argument always back is, well, he overachieved. But, those Suns teams, how many times were they a number 1 seed? How many times did they win 60 games?
Right.
Doesn't he need – and obviously the Warriors are the favorite. No one's denying it. Doesn't he need to have that quote-unquote moment of his where he upsets them to then be considered – a great coach?
I mean, I'll let Zach answer, but my thing in the NBA with great coaches is sort of a lot of people get dubbed a great coach because like Doc Rivers for a while. Like Doc Rivers is a great coach. Like, is he? Because Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen showed up in Boston and they won a championship and they only won one. Like, I don't think anybody thinks Tyronn Lue is a better coach than Mike D'Antoni.
No.
And
if you do,
he has a championship.
Stop watching basketball.
Yeah, exactly. And my things, I like Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
I think Steve Kerr is a good basketball coach, but I'm not sure Steve Kerr is a fantastic basketball coach. I still think that's kind of up in the air because look, you got handed one of the best teams of all time.
Right.
And yeah, you won 73 games, then you lost in the finals to Tyronn Lue.
Yeah.
With a 3-game lead. I don't know, we look at the Eastern Conference and it's like Lue, Brad Stevens, like there's a coaching, matchup disaster there. Like, I don't know who's the best coach in a Rockets Warriors series.
Well, you mentioned D'Antoni with the culture that he puts on a team. That's where Steve Kerr excels.
Right.
He created a culture. Like, Mark Jackson isn't a bad coach. He's a bad commentator. He isn't a bad coach.
Right.
He was a fine coach, right? Like, I call him like a stepping stone coach. He was the coach you needed in your organization to get to a point where the next coach was going to make you a lot better. And I don't think there's I think that's a admirable position to be in as a coach. Like, it's not the most ideal situation, but it's good, right? Steve Kerr realized, like, not just, hey, we have this super talented team, but we can use them in a different way. Because we're not going to run a bunch of post-ups for David Lee.
Right.
And some of that was accidental because David Lee got hurt. He put Draymond Green as a power forward, and then all of a sudden things blew up for them, right? Like, some of it was just happen chance. But Steve Kerr realized, like, there is a different way of thinking about that. I don't think he's the best X's and O's coach. I don't think he's a great, out of timeout coach. Like, I do think there are things he needs to get better at. But I think that he is a great culture setter, and that's what the Warriors needed more than anything. They have so much talent. They don't need the X's and O's necessarily.
Right.
They just need to know, how do we enjoy playing basketball? And that's what he did. So that's where, to me, he's a great coach.
And that's sort of what I've always said about the NBA is, like, your job is really being an ego manager.
Yeah.
Your job is getting guys up for an 82-game season, like dealing with all the travel, dealing with how to practice, when do you practice, like how much do you, like, all that. And then really, like, in game, especially when you have the talent that the Warriors have, like you said, out of timeouts.
Yeah.
Like, you need a shot at the end of a game. You need to make a defensive adjustment at halftime. Like, there's not really a lot,
Right.
You have to work a lot harder when your team's bad than when you have Steph and KD
Right.
and Klay Thompson. It's like, guys, I mean, look at what, like we said about the Cavs. It's like, go out there and play basketball.
Yeah.
And you're going to win. I mean, if you're the Warriors, if you go out without any plays, you're going to win, 60 games.
Well, and who did Steve Kerr steal from? He stole his system from Mike D'Antoni.
Exactly.
Like, they looked at Mike D'Antoni's system and were like, ooh, we could do this with that.
Yeah, he's in fact like Gentry. I would.
Alvin Gentry was shouting him out on the championship parade, like,
yeah.
hey, Mike D'Antoni did this, And I think your point's good about Mike D'Antoni hasn't been to the finals. And you look at James Harden. James Harden hasn't been in the final. Oh, well, he was with the finals with the Thunder, but not as the lead guy, right?
But even
and Chris Paul hasn't been to the conference finals.
Yeah.
Like, there are these big gaps in their resume, but you also have 3 guys with gigantic gaps in their resume who are a part of something that's really incredible right now, and that could actually drive them towards making this upset happen.
And I think people forget, even when Harden did make the final, Harden was coming off the bench, right? He was a sixth man.
He was terrible in the final.
Yeah.
I was going to say, people
so
forget how bad he
Yeah.
played. That's what I was going to bring up. But you were talking about Steve Kerr setting the culture. I got to bring up to everybody what happened this week as far as Kerr letting Iguodala and David West and some of the players run the timeouts.
Yeah.
What did we make of that?
I loved it. I think it's such a smart thing to keep his players mentally engaged in a long season where that game doesn't matter to them. Like, was it disrespectful to the Suns? I don't know. I think the Suns are disrespectful to basketball.
Right.
They're such a we're in February, they have tied the record for most 40-point losses in a season with 2.5 months to go. Like, I mean, that team sucks. That team should be, if they had relegation in the NBA, that team should be relegated mid-season. Like, get rid of them. I get why they would be upset about it. I get why other people think it's disrespectful. I think for Steve Kerr, on a night like that, you've got them engaged. You've got these guys thinking in a different way. It is mentally stimulating. Like, I think that is a great move. We've seen Popovich do this. We've seen other coaches do this with letting guys run timeouts. Pop did it with Tony Parker in the NBA Finals against the Heat. Now, he didn't do it for a whole game, but there was a point where he let Tony, Pop, the assistant coaches, and Tony Parker huddled up. They gave Parker the instructions. He went to the huddle. He told the players what to do. Like, that stuff happens more than we know. It just doesn't always happen for a full game.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think just keep those guys engaged. And you're playing the Suns. Like, is it disrespectful? It's like, it would be just as disrespectful, just not as reported on, to sit there and go, I'm just gonna, tweet about gun control this whole game because like we're gonna blow these guys out anyway. It's like have a fucking thing to do where you're like, hey guys, you're in charge. I mean, I coached baseball for a long time. I would do it regularly. I go, we need to mix it up a little bit. Somebody else make the lineup today.
Yeah.
And I go down the bench. What do you think we should do here? Just like keep guys mentally engaged in the game. And honestly, that's something that this game doesn't matter to them, but it might end up helping them down the road where they go like Iguodala or somebody says, hey, remember that game when we did this?
Right.
Like kind of worked.
Yeah.
And I mean, I really
got
have
an idea.
And also, if you're the Suns and you felt disrespected, punch somebody in the face.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
do something about it.
Or don't lose by 40.
Yeah, exactly.
Play better and don't lose by 40 because you're a professional basketball
You got
player.
outcoached by David West.
Right, exactly.
I think they should take it one step further. They should have like local rap guys from the Bay Area have like Too Short or MC Hammer running
E40?
the
Yeah.
running the timeouts.
Okay.
Because you and I have said, haven't we said this? I'm sure we have at some point on the show.
I just can't wait for the Pitbull E40 coaching matchup in the Bucks Warriors series.
Haven't we said, if the Warriors had zero, if they didn't have a coach, well, didn't you just say if they didn't have a coach, do they still win 60 games? I mean, I am not even making a joke here.
At this point, with the culture that they've set for themselves, like, I don't think it's a crazy notion.
I think if they don't have a coach, they win 60 games.
Yeah.
I mean, people forget, and like I will never because of my love for Bill Walton, I'll never like disrespect any member of the Walton family.
Sure.
But Luke Walton, it's not like anybody's watching these Lakers going like Luke Walton's brilliant, like he's the best coach in the West. He was the best coach in the West for 30 games.
Yeah, it was like 39-4 or something like that.
I mean, he was a record-setting. He has the highest winning percentage in Warriors history.
Well,
other
than Andre Iguodala.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I want to see Too Short running the timeout.
Also, I think so. I came up with this early in the week on a podcast where I said I think it should be a rule if you're up 30 in a game at any point, the next timeout a player has to coach. Like I think that automatically the coach gets subs out, and that is the shame for the opponent that they got down 30 in a game. Is now David West has to coach this timeout.
And it's almost the opposite with the Cavs. Like the only time they let Tyronn Lue coach is when they're up 30.
Right, exactly.
They're like, okay, what do you got, little guy?
Well, it's All-Star Weekend, of course, and I'm excited, Joe, because we're going to go to the game, right? And we're going to use our lovely SeatGeek app.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, where are we going here with
I
this?
was struggling. Our lovely SeatGeek app,
Yeah.
yes. Our efficient, our practical SeatGeek app. And SeatGeek is the only place that they should be going to get their tickets, right?
I mean, All-Star Game tickets are out of control, but if you use promo code DIRTY, you get $20 off. You get a $20 rebate on those
$20
tickets.
off. And that includes any event this
Don't
weekend.
pay $5,000.
Yeah.
Pay $4,980.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And right, and that includes the slam dunk contest, the 3-point contest, the skills challenge, the celebrity game. It's all available on SeatGeek. So Dirtballs, just download the SeatGeek app and go to the settings tab and enter our promo code, like Joe said, which is DIRTY, DIRTY today. That's promo code DIRTY for $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. And I will also say, as a reminder, I know we're talking about going to Vegas.
Yeah.
I went on SeatGeek the other day. I was looking at tickets for the Golden Knights. I always want to say Black
team.
Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Golden Knights. And I was thinking maybe me, you, and Goldberg drop that promo code DIRTY on SeatGeek and go to a hockey matchup.
I'm into it.
Is it hockey matchup or game?
I believe it's a game.
Is it a game?
Yeah.
I
Is it
don't
a
know.
match?
I've been to
Certainly not a matchup. That's not,
yeah, it's definitely
that's
not a
thing.
matchup.
This is not.
I've been to like
it's not
5
Tinder date.
I've been to 5 hockey matchups in my life, and they were fun.
Yeah.
I don't follow hockey, but they were a lot of fun.
We don't either.
Going to hockey live is like the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Now, as a like you said, you wake up and it's NBA till the end of the day. Were you much of a sports fan outside of basketball? And you've kind of had to give that up a little bit to focus.
Yeah, a little bit. Like I liked football. I still I pay attention to football still, but I wouldn't say I like it as much as I used to, just because of killing people. So
Right.
I do like have that struggle.
That's
but
my favorite part.
Well, that is. I mean, there is the Gladiator.
Yeah.
I've seen Any Given Sunday a lot. I get the whole Gladiator tie-in. I love baseball. I just don't know how to write about baseball. I'm a terrible writer when it comes to baseball.
Well, we got to talk about your Twitter because we're talking about basketball.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
No, but Joe and I were we're just so you know, a quick background. Joe and I are obsessed with Black Twitter.
Okay.
Because we think Black Twitter is the real Twitter.
Yeah,
it
because
is. It's where all Twitter culture comes from.
Right?
Yeah,
100%.
We're all real culture.
Well,
comes
yeah,
from,
that's
right?
true. Yeah.
It all comes from Black Twitter. Now I think you are definitely, Zach. You are Black Twitter.
Yeah, you're a member of Black Twitter.
Well,
Here's why.
Okay.
Let me say why real
Sure.
quick, and then you can say if you agree or not. The number one thing to be a part of Black Twitter is tweeting nonstop. It's just out of control.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking right now. You have 309,000.
I would have guessed way more than that.
319 tweets.
Yeah. I've been on it for like almost 10 years.
Oh, you're OG.
Yeah, I joined in like
30,000 tweets a year.
Right, exactly. I joined in like late 2008.
However,
Yeah.
what I would say, Joe, might disqualify Zach from not being Black Twitter.
Is I'm white?
Yeah.
Well,
Just change your avatar. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah.
There's that, but he normally tweets his own opinion.
Right.
Black Twitter loves retweets.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'm a big quote tweeter.
Yeah.
I do like the quote tweet feature. Yeah.
How often, let's say, what are you awake? 16, 17 hours a day?
Yeah.
How many hours a day are you on your phone?
Oh, man, a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, an unhealthy amount, for sure. I would say for me, the easiest part of the Black Twitter tie-in is, so if I can plug something.
Absolutely.
Black Opinions Matter Monday. It's our podcast network does this show, which is just a Black culture show. And so whatever's going on, like these guys, Amin Al-Hassan, who's from ESPN, he hosts it. We have Black Trey on there, who I work with, Big Waz, who I work with, Mariano, who I work with. These are all guys who just have created. It's really it's not the most popular show we do, but it's the best show we do. And so I'm talking to those guys constantly throughout a week on podcasts or whatever. Every Monday, I would say go download that. It is Black Twitter in podcast form, and it is great.
Black Twitter in podcast form.
Yeah.
My head just exploded.
Yeah.
Like are they just doing a 24-hour Black Panther a week? Like
it's just the rotating. The one thing. What's the meme where the black kids going like, oh, you know what I'm talking about? It's just
that guy's on the show.
He's on the show, just doing it the whole. You just
behind
can't
a
see
fan.
it. Yeah, exactly.
There really are no better. Is it GIF or GIF? I always mess this
I
up.
say GIF. The inventor of it says GIF.
Okay, so it's GIF technically.
You would think, but a lot of people say GIF.
I only say GIF because doesn't the G stand for graphic?
Yeah, but the guy who invented it said it's a soft G. And I go off gin and giraffe. That's what I go off. They're both
Okay.
GI words.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But there's no better GIFs than Black Twitter, right?
Oh my God. It is. I mean, again, it sets
Yeah.
the culture
Yeah.
for what Twitter should be.
Yeah.
It sets everything up.
Like the blinking white guy, definitely from Black Twitter.
Oh, that's
you know
a
what I
good
mean?
point.
Like they even use white people better than we do.
What will you be doing this All-Star weekend?
That's a great question.
I assume you got some stuff going on.
I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do. So there are the real events of All-Star Weekend have nothing to do with All-Star Weekend.
Right.
So there's like a lot of parties. There's a lot of things. So tonight I'm going to a thing. Tomorrow I have a decision to make between the Rising Stars game, which no one cares about other than the people who are in it. Even then, I don't think they care about it that much. Or
I mean, I'll be watching for Frankie Smokes. You
right.
know,
Oh,
like-
Frankie Smokes is great. I love him. Or there's a Vince Carter documentary event, which I think I would rather go to. That I'll probably go to. Saturday night, I'm in. I love the dunk contest. It is my favorite thing of All-Star Weekend every year. Some people don't like it. Some people say it's broken.
J.R. Ryder is responsible for all you are today.
He put Minnesota Timberwolves on the map. Like, I love the dunk contest. I love three-point contests. Like, I'm in on Saturday night.
So you'll be going to the Staples
I'm
Center.
going to that.
Okay.
Yeah. I will go to the All-Star game. I think I'm like 90% sure I'll go to the All-Star game. But there is also a Bleacher Report beach party during the day that may ruin that idea. But the plan is to go to Saturday and Sunday.
I
for
kind of
sure.
like that Bleacher Report party idea better.
I'm trying to see if it's realistic that I
Where
can
is
do
that
both.
at?
Somewhere in Santa Monica.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
put it all
Of course.
across town for you.
Yeah.
So you love the dunk contest.
Love
you
the
don't
dunk
have.
contest.
Is there any party that has any issue with like the dunk contest and how it's run? Like, do they need to update the dunk contest?
No, I think you just need to have good dunkers in it.
Yeah.
It's really that like they've tried to like, oh, we'll do the dunk wheel. Oh, we'll have fans vote for the winner. And all this. You don't need it. You just 4 to 6 dunkers, 2 to 3 rounds. Get the best dunkers in the league to do it. There are young dunkers throughout this league that they don't even invite. Like Terrence Ferguson, the rookie in Oklahoma City, he would be unbelievable in this. Derrick Jones Jr. was in it last year. He made the finals. He didn't win, and he didn't do a great job in it, but he is a ridiculous dunker. I think he plays in Miami now. He should be in it. Like, there are guys that they should have in it. Like, we don't need Victor Oladipo anymore.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what I'm looking right now.
Yeah.
So we have Victor Oladipo, Larry Nance Jr., Dennis Smith Jr., and Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Are the 4 dunkers.
There's
this
2
year.
great dunkers. Like, Donovan and Dennis are incredible dunkers. They will probably be in the finals. Oladipo did a horrible job against Zach LaVine in 2015. Larry Nance Jr. might be okay, but it's tough to judge big men.
I was just going to say, isn't he more of just a power thunder dunk type of guy?
I don't know if you guys remember when Shannon Brown was in the dunk contest. Like, there was this big, like, get Shannon Brown in the dunk contest, and he was terrible. I'm a little worried that Larry Nance Jr. is just a bigger Shannon Brown.
Yeah.
What's your greatest dunk contest memory? Like, what do you put up there?
Vince is obviously the one most people go to. I think Zach LaVine versus Aaron Gordon.
That was incredible.
The greatest dunking display we'll probably ever seen. That might be the peak. I can't imagine it getting much better than that, because the dunks we had in that, where Aaron Gordon literally sits down in midair, puts the ball under his ass, and dunks it all in one. But like that is like he lounges in the air and still dunks a basketball. That's so dumb. Zach LaVine caught an alley-oop from the free throw line. Zach LaVine went between his legs from the free throw line. Zach LaVine did a windmill from the free throw line. Like, these are all dunks that seem like video game things. Aaron Gordon got a little screwed on a couple of scores, but for the most part, like, I just don't know that dunking gets better than those 2.
Yeah.
So this year, 3-point contest. Let's move on to that.
Yeah.
We got Devin Booker, Wayne Ellington, Paul George, Bradley Beal, Klay Thompson, Tobias Harris, Kyle Lowry, and Eric Gordon. And Gordon won last year, right?
I think so. That sounds right to me.
And then I think Klay won the year before.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good group, don't we think?
It's a real good group. Yeah, that's the thing with the dunk or with the 3-point contest is they always have great shooters in there. Like, it's rare that they just put in like, oh, this guy might be fun. Like, it's always the best shooters in the league.
Who do we like, fellas? Who do we like in this one?
I'm sad my boy CJ's out this year. I know he didn't have the best performance the last couple of years, but I'm sad he's out. So I guess I got to throw my support behind. Anybody but Klay. Like, and I don't even dislike Klay. But
yeah, I'm gonna go dark horse. I'm going Wayne Ellington.
Wow,
Wayne Ellington.
When I looked at the lineup this morning, I was like, Wayne Ellington.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Wayne Ellington. I covered him a little bit in Minnesota. He's like one of the nicest guys in the world, and he can just flat out shoot the ball.
With a name like that, I feel like he should be some sort of Duke in like the old UK.
Yeah.
Like, Sir Wayne Ellington here is going to shoot the 3-ball. That's like a Dilly Dilly commercial.
It is, yeah, pretty much.
Right? I like, I know what you guys are saying. You can't always pick Klay. I like Eric Gordon again.
He's so good. He's such a ridiculous shooter.
Yeah.
Does Booker have any chance?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he can really shoot.
I think he'd be a fun
too.
one to see. Like, when
He's
I'll
also
throw
like-
my support behind Booker.
He's also like kind of psychotically competitive, which I think helps in these situations.
What is, just because we're talking about him, like, what happens to Devin Booker? Like, what is he just? It's just him stuck in Phoenix. Like, they're going to be around. They're like, well, he's the only thing that's exciting. We'll lose by 40, but he'll score a lot of points, and
this
we'll
is
keep him
his
for a while.
3rd year, so he probably has like at least another 5 years in Phoenix, which is
Poor guy.
Oh, that's awful.
Not ideal, because the 4-year rookie contract will be up, and then guys usually sign at least a 4-year extension off that.
Now, is he like, he has games where he looks flat out unstoppable?
Yeah.
Is that like the good player on a bad team vibe? Like, there's always the one guy who's a little bit, he's not quite as good as he seems on the worst team.
Right. I mean, there is a little, this is a weird comparison, but there is a little bit of Kevin Love to him, right? In that Kevin Love on the Timberwolves was like, yo, he's putting up 20, 10, and 5 every night. Like, this isn't unbelievable. And it was like, well, but they kind of suck. Like, it's easier to put up numbers. I think you could make an argument for Devin Booker being that, but he could, like, he's just really good at scoring. He's become really good at playmaking. And the shooting guard position is the weakest position in the league. So having a guy like that at that position that young, there is kind of a demand for having a player like him. I think he'll end up being legitimate. But yeah, I think you could make an argument that it's a lot of empty stats.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to the, what is it? Snoop Dogg.
Oh, it's Snoop Dogg 2 Chainz.
Oh, yeah.
Charity game.
We're going to the Adidas, Snoop Dogg 2 Chainz charity game tomorrow. What is that, at 4?
Yeah, I believe so. Down at the Adidas warehouse.
I
Yeah.
may go to that.
Yeah.
I may go to that before the Vince Carter thing.
I feel like that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm Team Titty Boy all the way.
Oh, you
personally.
got to be Team Titty Boy.
Right?
Yeah.
2 Chainz, of course. I'm looking at this lineup. I don't know. intern Trevor here, he probably knows. I don't know the majority of these rappers or who these people are.
Ooh.
First of all, they have full teams. Can I just go through?
What
these?
is it? All
Absolutely.
rappers?
Yeah.
Oh.
So maybe let me just go. Why don't I just go through the rosters to see
Okay.
who we do and do not know? And
I think one of their teams is just all little somethings, right? Like they're all, like little Bow Wow, little Snoopy, little Lil.
Snoop Dogg's West Coast team. David Banner. Okay, we all know him.
Yeah,
Chris Brown. We all know him.
sure. Chris can play.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
can play. K Camp. Don't know who that is.
Never heard.
Daylight. Daylyt.
Now that just sounds made up.
Yeah. Daylight.
Lil Dicky. Know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Snoop Dogg. Snap Dogg.
Snap Dog?
Yeah.
Like a social media Snoop?
Yeah, he's Snoop Dogg, but like when you do that avatar on Snapchat where
Yeah.
you can like dance and all that.
He just
yeah.
always looks like a dog
Yeah,
filter.
yeah, exactly.
Mr. Fab.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I know Mr. Fab. Yeah.
I don't know him. OT Genesis.
No.
And that's spelled Genasis.
He had a big song, right? What was his song, Trevor? Oh man,
It's a-
was it like? It was. I'm in love with the Coco, wasn't it?
That's him?
No,
That's Hitman Genesis?
that's a different Genesis. I feel like OT
Is that
Genesis
Phil
had a
Collins
huge
Genesis?
song.
That would
Yeah.
be great if that was actually their song.
That would be great. Hitman Holla?
Sure.
Kamaya?
I don't know.
We don't know any of these guys.
No.
T. Dot what is it? T. Dot Ill Dude?
I think this successfully
Ill dude.
removed me from Black Twitter.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say this might remove all of us. All of our whiteness is showing.
Yeah.
And then we have Joe Moses. Just sounds like a black guy from the
It
Bronx.
just
Yeah.
sounds like an ABA player.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Joe Moses.
Yeah. Joe Moses was on the Squires in
Yeah.
1968.
He was on the Bullets when they were the Bullets.
Right.
He provided the bullets for the bullets.
Problem? Just problem.
I'm not the only reason I'm not reacting is because but now I know you're not smart enough for it, but I was like, Ruth is gonna throw in a completely fake one. It's like problem? That's not a real name, right?
RJ?
Okay.
All right.
Richard Jefferson?
Not Ray J?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not Ray J.
Okay.
Rob Stone, but with the dollar sign.
Right.
The S.
Right.
Chevy Woods.
That's a car.
Yeah.
So that is Snoop
Chevy
Dogg's.
Woods is the car is like the car you get from Enterprise that
Yeah.
you didn't know existed.
Right.
Like, oh, it's a Chevy Woods. It's only $60 a day.
So that's Snoop Dogg's team. Now 2 Chainz East Coast team. Lil Bibby.
Right.
Like Mike Bibby?
Yeah. Playboy Cardi, but he spells the boy like how 2 Chainz does Titty
Sure.
Boy.
Right.
Short Dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dave East.
Just keep moving. I mean, you're like,
Fabulous. We know Fabulous.
Yeah, I know
yeah,
Fab,
sure.
yeah. He's still alive. Good for
Yeah.
him.
Whose team is he on? This is
This is 2 Chainz.
oh
Two
yeah.
Chainz team.
Fabulous had some hits back in the
Oh
day.
yeah,
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
big.
You get that one song with Nate Dogg, that hook.
Yeah.
Walk,
And Pachanga. I mean, I'm gonna be playing Pachanga the whole way down to that game.
Waka Flocka Flame. We know him.
Sure.
Freddie Gibbs. Trinidad James.
Yeah.
Trinidad James. His one song always makes my workout mix. And then I realize how wide I am when I say it out loud. Young M.A.
Oh, Young M.A.
Oh,
always
yeah.
makes my workout mix.
French Montana.
Sure.
We know him.
That's Miley Cyrus's fake name, right?
I would love to see. It's possible he can play. I just want to see French Montana dribble a basketball.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
feel like it's going to work out.
Yeah. It's gonna be a bad game, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Quavo.
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 From Migos. He's like a.
By the way, I'm just now understanding Quavo.
No, Quavo was
Quavo.
legit like an all-state athlete in like 3 sports in high school.
Wow.
Like I think
Really?
he can really play. He can throw a football like 50 yards. Like he's incredible.
Those guys are
And-
those guys' music.
And he's
oh.
marrying Cardi B, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't really followed all that. I've fallen off a little.
Yeah, I figured when you said Quavo.
Yeah.
Now who's Cardi B?
Cardi B.
Come on.
She's got the hottest song in the world.
Yeah.
Which song is hers?
Bodak
I mean-
Yellow.
Yeah.
The-
Come on, Trevor. Give us a piece of Bodak Yellow.
What is it, Trevor?
Fuck with me if you wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, see?
Okay.
This is
I'm
Red
a resident
Bombs.
hip hopper.
Yeah. And I'm gonna pronounce this one correctly.
Okay.
Wale.
Wale, yeah.
Not
I think
whale,
I
not
think-
whale,
I think
Wale.
I think Wale can play too.
I thought that was a Pixar movie.
So we will be attending this, and we will be filling the quota for white people. Me, you, and Trevor.
What are the odds that this game makes it past the second quarter?
No.
There's no way, right?
How stoned are we going to get before this game?
I feel like it's like when you watch, I feel like it's going to be a lot like the Rucker games too, where you're like watching it and somehow there's like 70 people that are also on the court with them. Like it just keeps getting closed down until they're playing and just the paint.
Now, yes or no? Do I wear the NWA hat to this game, or you got
not with me?
No. I would say that's a hard no.
You're like, hello, Quavo. I was wondering if you could sign my NWA hat.
Quavo, big fan. Now explain to me this Cardi B.
Yeah.
You know what I should do, Prano? I should add an eHarmony date for this event.
That's what you should do.
That's what you should absolutely do.
My first, take a girl that I matched with on eHarmony and bring her along as an opening date, right?
Yeah.
The Snoop Dogg 2 Chainz.
Yeah, you should send her a message. Be the Cardi B to my Quavo.
Exactly. Because I'm on eHarmony now, as you guys know.
Oh, I know.
You gotta find love.
I'm looking for it, you know.
Did you find it before Valentine's Day?
I didn't. So
now you need eHarmony.
I was pathetically looking at eHarmony last night. I was looking at my matches. Guys, if you're sick of all the online where it goes nowhere, like on Tinder,
the hookup sites,
sign up for eHarmony, because right now all our listeners get a free month with eHarmony when they sign up for a 3-month subscription. Simply enter our code DIRTY at checkout. I got 800. I'm looking now. I got 867 matches again.
Whoa!
eHarmony, they create the matches.
You know how long that would take you on a swiping app?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's right, Zach. They create it. So stop waiting and start your journey to a satisfying, meaningful relationship, guys. It can be fun to play around with online dating apps, but when you're ready to fall in love, just like me, with someone and have a meaningful relationship, there's one app that's built to bring you real love. That's eHarmony. So come see how eHarmony can change your life. Go to eHarmony.com and get started. Enter our code, which is DIRTY at checkout. And when I go on these eHarmony dates, you know what I wear, Joe?
What's that?
My Flag and Anthem gear.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah.
Which I'm wearing right now.
Gotta look right.
Yeah.
I got the Flag and Anthem shirt. I got new Flag and Anthem jeans.
You're wearing the hat?
I'm wearing the hat. Yeah, I forgot. I'm wearing it all.
Yep.
So Dirtballs, Flag and Anthem. If you go to flagandanthem.com and drop our promo code Dirty Sports, you get 25% off your first order. It's a good deal. They're blowing up. They're everywhere now.
25%'s a lot.
It's a lot, right?
That's a lot.
So you drop $1,000. I'm not a math major.
Yeah, it's basically $900 off.
Yeah.
If my math is correct, yeah.
Is that what that is?
Oh, maybe that might be
okay.
Might be a rough
ballpark.
Might be
Good to
like
know. Yeah, so go to flagandanthem.com right now and drop promo code Dirty Sports to get 25% off your first order. And Trevor, I'm gonna let you get some Flag and Anthem gear this month.
Got to do it.
Got to upgrade you from the wearing the winter hats and the shorts and flip flops or whatever you wear, slides. I call them flip flops. Whatever. We're gonna upgrade your life.
Do flip flops have the thing between the toe?
Yeah.
Is that what a
Okay.
flip flop
Yeah.
is technically?
Yeah. And the slides are just the
They slide on.
the cover ups.
But see, I used to always call those flip flops until recently.
Sure.
You know, the first time this is how dumb I am. I'll just make a confession on the show. I had never heard the term slides until we had Brian Scalabrine on to talk about his White Mamba slides.
Right.
When he said slides, I was doing like the blinking guy meme. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I finally figured it out. And
I think it wasn't that long ago that I think the slide manufacturers had to come up with a name so that people stopped calling them shower shoes.
Right. Exactly.
Because it was like,
okay,
oh, you mean the things you wear into the shower in college? Yeah, but now cool kids wear them with socks on underneath. Okay.
Here's what I would guess too: is this was Gucci based.
Yeah.
And that Gucci wasn't going to say, buy our Gucci shower shoes for $300.
Yeah.
So they would have to be like, oh, they slide on. We'll call them slides.
yeah, it's brilliant marketing.
Yeah, it's really good.
So you're a Timberwolves guy.
Yeah.
Any chance of some sort of big upset in the West?
I think they can win a first round series, but anything outside of that, like, not a chance.
No
Because
way.
It's crazy. They have the third best offense in the league. So they can score, but they don't shoot threes. So a lot of it comes in the paint and at the free throw line, which is fine. But you face Golden State or you face the Rockets, it's just a math problem.
Tough to keep up.
Yeah.
How about the future of
Yeah.
your Wolves?
I like it. I mean, there are going to be some financial concerns with the way the team's structured, because there's just going to be a lot of money given out to Jimmy Butler, Karl Anthony Towns, and Andrew Wiggins. But Towns is awesome. Butler still has like probably 3 or 4 really good years. A lot of people are down on Wiggins, but I think he's good and he's going to be a lot better. They just have to find ways to fill in that roster, which is a little tricky.
Now, obviously, Tibbs is a great coach.
Yeah.
He comes in, he turns that team around. But exactly what you were saying, you're like, well, we get a lot of points in the paint, we got points at the free throw line. Is it scare you at all that Tibbs is a great coach but can only play his style? Like, I don't see him adjusting and suddenly being hey, let's shoot 33s a game.
That's the frustrating thing, is that he has that like crazy departure from the Bulls and then takes a year off and went around and like just learned from all these other coaches. And when he got hired to be, essentially dual citizenship of the front office and the sidelines, he was like, look, I learned like 3-point shooting is important in this league, and we have to be able to defend the 3-point line, and we have to be able to hit 3-pointers. And so like that's what we're going to do. And I learned that during my time off. And none of what they've done the last 2 years says that he learned that, because they don't shoot a lot of threes. They're fine at shooting them, but they don't shoot a lot, and they're terrible defending the 3-point line. It was like, I mean, the other night they were close with Houston for most of the game.
But at least he knows.
At least he knows it. Yeah, exactly.
At least he's admitting it.
The game against Houston the other night, they lost by 18, but it was close into the fourth quarter, and then Houston hit 10 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. They ended up winning the 3-point line 66-18, because they had 22 threes against the Wolves, 6 threes in the game. And it's like, you lose 66-18, like, you're lucky you only lost by 18 points. Like, and they have that math problem a lot when they lose.
About the 3-pointer, is this like, does it just keep going from here? Like, the big men are shooting threes now.
Right.
I mean, obviously Porzingis is like a guy who's, I think the stat I heard before he went down was he had made 75 more threes than all the other 7'2" and taller players combined in the history of the NBA.
Right. Yeah.
Like, so now we have 7'3" guys that are hitting threes. Is it just going to be a game that continues to progress, that it goes further and further behind the arc? And
yeah, it will, because what happens is, like, everyone just says, hey, the Warriors, they just shoot a bunch of threes, and the Rockets, they just shoot a bunch of threes. They do shoot a bunch of threes, but they do that to open up the paint, so that when you overplay the 3-point line, now that they can drive in, get a dunk, get a layup, whatever. And so those are the two most efficient shots in basketball outside of the free throw line. So if you can shoot a bunch of threes and get a team overplaying that, then you can drive to the basket. And then they're like, oh, we can't give up all these points in the paint. We got to guard the basket. Then you start shooting a bunch of threes. It's just like this kind of circular thought process. So yeah, I think Houston's an extreme, because they shoot like 50 a game. I don't think a lot of teams will shoot 50 a game, because not everyone has that level of shooting. Right. But yeah, the good teams will be 3-point shooting teams.
Where do you see the ceiling for Andrew Wiggins? Like where do you see his potential? Because obviously he's been there now a couple years.
I think he can be an all-star. But also, like, all-star is not the mark that we used to think of it. Like, all NBA, all NBA, like, that's what you want to be. You want to be an all NBA guy. All-star, like, you had a good half season, coaches voted you in, or players or fans voted you in. I don't know. I used to think he would be an all NBA guy. Now I don't know that. I kind of think he could be, like, the Indiana Pacers version of Paul George at his height, like at his absolute best. I think he can get to that, but there's a lot that has to happen, because he has to become more comfortable in his role. He was very comfortable in his role the last couple of years, and then this year he's the third option. He still gets a lot of shots, but he's the third option. They don't run a ton of stuff for him right away. He's got to figure that out.
Go ahead. I know we got to get you out of here at some point soon, so I have a couple questions I've got to ask. First of all, where does LeBron James end up next year? Because everybody just keeps saying LA. I don't understand it.
I don't think he's going to LA.
And does Isaiah Thomas going to LA hurt that chance?
No, I actually think he would. I think it might help it, just the fact that, like, I think LeBron at this point would be like, I will go to the Lakers, but you got to get rid of that guy.
Right.
Like, you got to send him somewhere else. I think that I could see that him being petty enough for that. But Houston?
No.
They got to clear a bunch of contracts, but Daryl Morey's really good at clearing space.
Yeah.
He's great friends with Chris Paul. And he knows that, like, his goal...
It's that stupid wine shit.
It is the wine
I'm
stuff.
so over this. Can we, not to divert the conversation, we have to talk about this for a moment. Did you read any of the ESPN piece?
Yeah, well, here's
Did
here's
you
my
see
take.
this?
I
Here's,
didn't.
here's
I
my
mean,
take
I've seen
on
it, but
millionaires love wine.
yeah,
These are millionaires.
yeah, exactly.
But here's my take. Here's my
Like they could just as easily be the private jet club.
But that's my
Like,
point. Here's my quick hot take.
the Bentley Club.
There's nothing I hated more when I used to wait tables, especially at Hotel Oceana in Santa
Yeah.
Monica. There's nothing more I hated as a waiter than, it was all rich clientele. And we
Yeah.
get like a lot of celebrities in there and stuff. That how snobby they were about the wine, the shake. Is there anything worse than it smells like? No, it smells like fucking grapes. Does it smell like oak?
I went to a wine bar the other day, and they like poured the sample or whatever,
Yeah.
and I did the swirl, and I did this, and the whole time I was going, why am I doing that? I don't know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
doing. I don't
yeah,
know what
yeah.
I'm smelling right now. Like I just do it because I don't want to look like an idiot not doing it. But I felt like an idiot
Right.
doing it.
And you look so pretentious. The thing I love about sports, and again I'm stereotyping, is in my opinion, a lot of these guys aren't like they're not that type of person.
Right.
They're not the rich yuppie white country
But I
club
mean,
type. But it's like they're trying to become that. I'm like, no, just
well, also, hey, look, it's
Come
also
on, guys.
it's also a smart decision though. Like if you need a drink to cool down, like if you're in the NBA, it's dumb. Like you don't want to drink a beer. I mean,
Right, yeah.
hard liquor. Like there was a time when every single NBAer was going out into the club and getting bottle service,
Right.
and the league was not great back then. Like
Yeah.
I actually like LeBron James, like spending a quiet night at home. Drinking, a Chianti, and also playing great into his 15th
Yeah.
season.
I'm more worried about him smoking cigars so much lately.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
thing I'm worried about.
but do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I
though?
think he should.
Like,
Yeah,
I
know-
think
oh, I
he
know what
should
you're
join my D'Antoni's Rockets. D'Antoni needs a winery at this point, like D'Antoni wines, like a nice Montepulciano, and like having like just LeBron James over to his vineyard during the off season.
He played a long time in Italy. I bet Mike D'Antoni has a vineyard somewhere in
Yeah,
Italy.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think LeBron stays.
I don't. Unless
why
Dan,
not?
unless Dan Gilbert sells it. He hates Dan Gilbert.
They hate each
Everyone
other.
hates Dan Gilbert. Dan Gilbert is a terrible person.
Is
for
he
one.
just a dick?
He's the worst. Like he was part of the,
I mean, look,
I-
I'm a Knicks fan, so I won't hear he's the worst.
Well, yeah,
You're
right,
not just gonna be
right.
able to throw that around in my presence.
he was part of like the the mortgage crisis. Like
Yeah.
he benefited.
Yeah.
Like he's
He's an evil. He's an evil person.
I don't know how
Yeah.
many billionaires make their money nicely. So
Right.
that's maybe an
Yeah.
unfair characterization. But like, yeah, he's not a good guy.
Yeah.
I thought that the moves they made, obviously at the trade deadline,
Yeah.
were nice moves. But I thought the idea that everybody was saying, you absolutely can't give up the Brooklyn pick.
Right.
I thought it was like blatantly the wrong decision for a couple of reasons. One, what did the Cavs ever win before or after LeBron James was
Right.
there? And also, if you make a move with that pick, you're going all in on LeBron staying, but it's kind of your only hope is going all in on LeBron staying.
Well, to be fair, LeBron does have a history of decimating the places he leaves.
Right.
He decimated Cleveland the first time. He decimated the Miami Heat when he left. To the point where he was like, "Oh, I really like that Shabazz Napier guy. You should draft him in the first round." When
Yeah.
no one had him going in the first round, they said, "Oh, that's what you want, LeBron? We're going to draft Shabazz." He's had an okay year this year. He's not good.
Right.
Like they wasted a first round pick essentially. So like he does have this history. So for him, if he is planning on leaving, he's like, "Hey, you gotta trade this Brooklyn pick." That would hurt them in the future for rebuilding. So like I think there is a strategic thing for him.
But also, like, let's say LeBron leaves, they have this team, they have the Brooklyn pick.
Yeah.
Are the do the Cavs become relevant with the number one overall pick? Next year or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And these guys, it's like you're still now just a lottery team for a decade.
Right. Well, I mean, it is the East, so you could sneak into the 8th seed. But yeah, like losing LeBron's going to be bad no matter what. I think it's smart to hedge your bets because I don't think he's going to resign. I don't think unless Dan Gilbert sells the team, which is very possible. But unless Dan Gilbert sells the team, I think there's zero chance.
LeBron should buy it.
He's got a lot of money. He's got wine money now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got that wine.
Yeah.
money.
And he's producing his production company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is doing House Party like a remake. You guys
Oh,
saw
yeah,
this,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
That's
so he's
right.
gonna have less money soon. That's for sure. Who is
Well,
he targeting with that one?
Well, hold on. Our boys Tug Coker, Tommy Dewey, teamed up with LeBron for their show. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Hey, that.
Oh well, now if House Party is gonna have those two guys with Tommy Doo with a flat top, that's a whole other story. That I'd go watch.
How did The Wall do? Remember that game show we did that just ripped off Plinko?
Yeah.
Like I think that did pretty well.
Was that
No idea.
was that just like a quick few episodes? Was that
It was
not
like-
I think they
a
had
recurring
I
series?
think they had like a couple months of The Wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like one of those game shows that they put on like major networks. They do it for like 4 months and they're like,
But-
wasn't that great? We'll
but
bring
that-
it back if you really love it.
right.
But that's why, Zach, that's why everyone's saying he's going to come out here. You know, you keep hearing the same thing. LeBron's so involved in the entertainment side, from the
Yeah.
production side with his company, you know, with Maverick Carter. And, you know, he just bought a new house in Brentwood. And everyone says that. But Joe has said, and I agree, concerning the Lakers already have their history. You know, they already have this.
Right.
It's LeBron James. He doesn't need to add to that. You know, he can do things on his own. So who knows? He might come to the Lakers, but he sure as hell is not coming to the Clippers. I'll say that much.
Oh no, he's
'Cause-
not even going to talk to the
Because
Clippers.
people were like, oh, he might come to the Clippers.
Yeah.
No, he won't.
No, there was that thing with like, hey, the Clippers, they made this Blake Griffin move hoping to clear space for LeBron and get a meeting with LeBron. They're excited. They think they can get a meeting with LeBron. And then like a day later, someone reported like, yeah, he's not meeting with the Clippers.
So you're thinking Houston.
I kind of think like I'm talked more and more into Houston. I do think the Lakers are a possibility, but I don't think it's as strong as it was.
Yeah.
It would be smart for him to stay in the East. But
That's what I've been saying.
but if you're gonna team up, you know, him joining Chris Paul and James Harden, like that's a lot of talent.
My other question is, obviously, you know, the Warriors, they're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Right.
We've seen their issues, but I still think probably, you know, the team to beat one way or the other for the next couple of years. 5 years from now, who are the near future? Who are the teams? Is it going to be the Sixers coming up?
Yeah.
And it's
I think the Sixers. I mean, as long as Embiid's healthy, and you kind of have to throw that qualifier out there, but like they've got a lot of young talent, and a lot of roster flexibility where they can add either good veterans or more young talent to it. So I think the Sixers will be in great shape. Milwaukee will be, because I just think Giannis will be that good. The Bulls rebuilding may go pretty quickly. Like in 3 years, they could be a really good team again.
Yeah.
And in the West, like I think the Timberwolves will be there. I think Utah can put together a really good team. Denver's got a good young team.
What about the Lakers? I have to ask, because
They've got good young talent. It's
that's
just
the
like,
thing. They need to land. I mean, we say this every summer. They need to land a free agent or two. Let's say the Lakers land. Let's just one guy,
Yeah.
Paul George.
Sure,
Let's say Lakers add Paul George next summer.
Right.
How much better does that make them?
they might be the 8th seed
Okay.
because they're so young. Like that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like Ingram's really good, but he's young.
Yeah.
Lonzo Ball could end up being good, but he's 20 years old.
Yeah. Kuzma. young.
Kuzma,
Yeah.
young. Yeah. Julius Randle, who I don't know who will stick around, but like he's really young. Like you just can't win with young guys. They're
Right.
just. I mean, how many young people do you know where you're like, I trust that guy's opinion on life, right?
Yeah.
Or I trust him to do his job. Like it's just not.
Trevor's wearing slides.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like it's just not. The NBA is so hard. The NBA is so hard that young people just make a lot of dumb decisions.
Yeah.
And it's just how it is. So like I think if they bring in Paul George, they probably move one or two young guys to bring in another star in a trade.
What if they had Paul George and LeBron? Then where does that put the Lakers?
I mean, they're probably a top 3 team in the West,
Yeah.
just because LeBron's that good. But how long? Like he is.
Yeah.
He's in year 15.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
how long can he keep up with that? He probably has 2-3 more years, around this level if he's lucky, and then at that point, it's a lot of mileage.
Right. My final question: do my Knicks have any hope anytime soon? Should I be getting a little bit excited? I mean, I know Porzingis obviously gets hurt, so I'm not excited currently.
Well, I
but
heard the surgery went well, so that's good.
that's good.
He didn't die during surgery, so that's always a plus.
Well, for the Knicks,
Yeah.
wouldn't have ruled it out.
You guys have a better chance with Quavo running your
Yeah,
team
yeah.
than the current status of
Oh,
the Knicks.
absolutely.
As long as James Dolan's the owner, it's not good.
Telling you, it's literally the same syndrome with the Cincinnati Bengals. It's
Yeah.
the same exact thing. As long as that idiot's running the Bengals, just like as long as Dolan's running the Knicks, they're going to be what they are.
Warriors are the perfect example of this. Warriors were a joke for 25 years because they had a horrible ownership. Joe Lacob comes in. Joe Lacob's obnoxious, but Joe Lacob is smart in how he runs
Yeah.
that business. He brings in the right people. They have a little bit of luck in how contracts go and Kevin Durant's free agents, all that stuff. But like the ownership matters in the NBA more than the market.
Right.
Like whenever people are like, oh, big markets have a advantage, they don't, because the Clippers are in a big market. They've always sucked. The Bulls in a big market, they've always sucked outside of Michael Jordan. The Knicks always suck, right? Or almost always suck.
Yep.
Like the market doesn't matter as much, especially in today's like where they say like, hey, LeBron may come to LA because he loves all this movie making. He can do all that stuff from Cleveland. He can do all that stuff from France. Like he doesn't need to be in LA to do this business. Like that's just not how it works anymore. So the ownership always matters.
Yeah. I mean, I knew that was the answer, but I had to ask it anyway.
I saw,
but Kristaps is great.
I know, but
I saw some hope in the way.
I mean,
you
that
were
is really the
asking.
problem. That's always been the problem with the Knicks, and is just ownership is one thing, but it's like owners. You can be a bad owner and just not be involved whatsoever,
right?
Like be like, no, Donnie Walsh, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Pat Riley, do whatever you want. But the Knicks ownership is terrible because they've always had those guys show up. They seem to get it, and then they go, yeah, but no, we got to trade for Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely have to have it. And then...
Because now that Kristaps is injured, who's the best player on that team right now? Courtney Lee?
Michael Beasley. Like,
fair.
Straight up,
Fair.
it is Michael Beasley.
It might be Michael Beasley.
You know what I mean? Tim
Am I
Hardaway
high,
scored...
or did you just say Michael Beasley is currently the best player?
Honestly,
on the
that name just makes people high at this point.
Tim Hardaway scored 32 points and a half last night.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
That's a bucket list goal, by the way.
Yeah.
Getting high with Michael Beasley.
Well, I haven't gotten high with Michael Beasley, but I did buy something from his estate sale in Minneapolis. I bought a framed Yale poster.
Really?
Wait, this is amazing.
I have no idea why he had a framed Yale poster, but I went to the second day of this 2-day estate sale, and my friend was in town, and he bought this just random wooden duck with a compartment that we're pretty sure was a weed duck.
Right.
And then just walking through this giant house, there were wine stains. There were stains all over the carpet that looked like red wine.
Yeah.
And then there's just this random...
Or blood.
There's this random
Michael Beasley's a serial killer.
red framed Yale poster that was like $15. So I bought it, and everyone who was running the estate sale was super excited when I bought it, which made me real uncomfortable because I didn't know if like Declaration of Independence is on the back or something, or if this was like a joke that they put in there. But yeah, I bought a Yale poster from Michael, and it's prominently displayed in my apartment.
So I've actually never, surprising here, I've never gone to an estate sale. What is that? So you go to Beasley's house, and people are just walking.
It's like a classy yard sale.
Yeah, that's what it's an indoor yard sale.
Yeah,
that's essentially what it is. There were a lot of like Prada and Gucci purses and stuff. Like
a lot of ankle watches.
Yeah, a lot of jewelry.
Yeah.
There was also, which I do regret not buying, there were 2 bottles of blue raspberry margarita mix.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like $1 a bottle. Like, it was a great deal. I think one of them might have been open. But it was, and I thought about it and just thought, like, no, when am I ever going to drink blue raspberry margaritas? And now I've regretted that ever since.
Yeah.
But
that could have been a special at a party.
Exactly.
Like the Michael Beasley margaritas.
Yeah, the Beasley blue raspberry special.
You drink that, you instantly get woke.
Yeah, exactly.
If you, but you did buy the Yale thing, which I think is great, because this is what I'm picturing. And I don't know how he got this.
Yeah.
This is just, we all know everybody buys everything on Amazon.
Right.
Everything.
Right.
You combine marijuana with Amazon, you buy some weird shit.
Right.
Yeah. So I think what happened was Beasley just got baked one night.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, that's a good school. I'm going to buy this.
I think he bought a frame, and that would just happen to be what was in it.
That was just the stock photo that came with it.
He never replaced it.
That's great. Well, Zach, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
And I know they can listen to your podcast, Talk Hoops.
Talk Hoops. Listen to the Basketball Friends. That's our like kind of conglomeration podcast a couple times a week.
And how often are you writing for FanRag Sports?
4 or 5 times a week. Yeah.
Okay.
I got a thing out today. I have a thing out today on I ranked the worst contracts given out during 2016 free agency. There were over 40 contracts. So I did a criteria, long story short, of it had to be 3 years or more, and it had to be 8 figures annually over the life of that contract. And there were over 40 of them given out in 2016 because there was $1 billion in salary committed that season with the salary cap jump. And most of them are bad. So,
Can you tease some of your top?
Did you guys know that Miles Plumlee got 4 years, $52 million?
I did know that. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. So that's a top 5 one.
Wow. Miles Plumlee got $50 million.
Yeah.
As a Knicks fan, I'm just like sitting over here thinking,
what if I told
James
you?
And being like, none of this even touches that. So
what if I told you?
I will say number one. I'll say the number one is Chandler Parsons. 4 years, $94 million. He's played like 19 games or something like that.
He's busy on Instagram.
He's
man.
busy. Like he's heavy on Instagram.
Yeah.
He's real good at that game.
He doesn't have
Yeah.
time to play.
Not a great basketball player anymore, but he's good on Instagram.
So they can find that at fanragsports.com.
Fanragsports.com. Yep.
Okay. And
That's
your
it.
Twitter feed is, you guys, come on. The guy is tweeting. He's there for you at Talk Hoops.
I never stopped tweeting.
Yeah. I mean, you do the math. You got 100 tweets a day
It's like-
coming out.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not far
100
from it.
tweets a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go give Zach some love on his podcast. Check out his blogs. Check out his Twitter. It's all there. Prano, you got any shows you want to push?
At Fix Your Life on Twitter. If you're in the LA area, doing a big show on Thursday at the Lab at the Improv, 7:30 on Thursday. I'll be down in San Diego next week, the following week with Eddie Ift for 2 shows, and then Palm Springs the second weekend of March, which is the big tennis tournament weekend. So if you're out in Palm Springs, come out. All my other dates, joeprano.com.
Cool. Yeah. AndyRuther.com for any of my shows. dirtysports.com. And again, this was all live on YouTube. So subscribe, guys. We're pumping out all our shows on YouTube. So subscribe to our channel. And of course, leave those iTunes reviews. You guys know how much I love those iTunes reviews and those 5-star ratings. All right. Well, Zach, it's been a pleasure.
Hey, thank you guys so much.
We got to do this again for sure.
Anytime.
And I think we all need to get stoned and invite Michael Beasley.
Yeah.
And we'll all just
And
stare.
watch the third Human Centipede.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I bet he's produced that movie.
Yeah, right? Exactly. We could probably convince him to produce that movie.
All right, guys. Thanks for supporting the show. And most importantly, don't forget, condoms are for pussies.